Guys, welcome to the Crypto Lab with Alex, featured by Trading Analysis. After a 2-week pause, I took a 2 weeks vacation. We are continuing every Thursday to observe the macro outlook and what's going on in the crypto space. As usual, we are going to do a main presentation of the macro environment, and then we will switch to cryptos. And then, of course, if you have some cryptos that you favor, you can leave the comments in the chat box, and of course, other comments if you like to. So let's dive in. Let's start with the recent developments. Of course, the CPI, which actually moved lower from 9.1 to 8.5, has caused a lot of moves on the upside in the stock markets, and questions about the Fed ability to pursue, of course, the rates higher. Fed actually pivoted from their forward guidance and actually became data dependent. And probably they are foreseeing, if you look the oil prices of commodities, a little bit slowed down, so they don't want to rush with this a larger or a stronger pursuit, pushing the rates even higher than they are. So the next Fed meeting is at 21st of December. We're going to have another CPI data, I think around 12th of September. And as you can see on the CME Fed tool, which is the market observation where the rates will go, 50 basis points move, it's around 67.5%. So most likely this will be a stationary one. So the Fed might move 50 basis points and actually start in a range or finish in a range between 2.75 to 3%. But what I'm looking from the perspective is of the rate hikes is the 2nd of November, which is very interesting because currently market is starting to price in only 25 basis point move. As you can see, at 36.7% probability that the Fed will hike 25 basis points, which will actually put Fed in a more neutral stance and basically favorable to risk on moves. And actually, we might see even when the Fed reaches these levels and inflation starts to move even further lower, that this might be, I will not say the last move, but more likely the neutral move from Fed. Maybe they are going to even pause on the 14th of December. So that is all data dependent. We will see on the 12th of September with the newest CPI data how that will move. And let's go and look a couple of macro charts to see where we are technically. And we will go and look, of course, 10-year yields, which are still in some type of a consolidation pattern. We still don't have a full developed five-way move on the downside. So until I see that, I will still consider this potential consolidation in some type of a complex or a triangle. And if we see some type of a five-way move or a leading diagonal, this can represent actually the start of the rates to move at least temporary or take a pause and move lower. So I'm still juggling with a couple of solutions here. Of course, the crucial thing for the move in the rates lower will be if we surpass on the downside these levels where the wave one has started, which is around 2.007. If we cross that level, that will be a sure sign that actually rates started to move lower, and we can kind of discuss at which level the rates will stop this consolidation. I'm going to look for this region from 1.8 to 1.29, which is a pretty unimaginable now, but technically we see that as the strongest support, either from these levels or from a levels a little bit higher if this turns out to be a consolidation and the triangle on the upside. So on the European front, we are seeing that the longer term channel, this is the 10-year Bund, which is the German equivalent of the 10-year in US. If we look the larger time frame, we will see that this almost 40-year trend line has been surpassed on the upside. We are trading now at the support levels of this trend line. So technically, if we look through the Elliott Wave lens, we still consider this to be some type of an intermediary wave tree. And in this intermediary subdivision, this will represent a potential wave for lows, where we might continue searching for the end of the wave tree on the upside. Of course, the wave count invalidation are very far on the downside. In the minus territory, we are trading now at 0.89. The high was at 1.9, so almost one full percentage we went lower. As you know, ECB hiked 50 basis points, and we will see their outlook on the next meeting, which can actually determine where these levels are going to hold, or we're going to see a push lower. So for now, I'm still going to pursue the wave count that the rates in Europe will continue a little bit more higher, because as you know, situation in Europe is much more different than in US, and still suffering from the conflict between the Russia and Ukraine, gas, oil prices, inflation, you all know situation in Europe. So I think they don't have such a strong ability to hike, especially if you take a sovereign debt across the European states. So I do see potentially rates going higher, but not in that extent that we have seen in a Fed, at least in the current cycle. So if we see a full-blown five-way move on the upside, of course, that will be bullish on rates in the future, but only after a corrective pullback, which might take us down, but this is far in time. So let's go one step at a time. Dollar index is still juggling between this couple of levels. So if I show you higher time frames, no matter how do you quantify this from the perspective of the Elliott Wave, either this is an ABC X and we expect another ABC on the upside and bullish dollar in the next year, year and a half, or this is a full five-way move. Soon we're going to see a significant move down in dollar. Okay, if that is the time now, I will not say so currently, because if you see the subdivisions, most likely we are still in the blue wave 4, which will unfold in some type of a consolidation or directional correction, and I will turn bearish on a dollar index only if I see this level substantially crossed on the downside in the impulsive manner. So it is very early in the stage to actually anchor this wave 5 here. I would not like to do that currently. I would like to leave this open and to see how this consolidation will unfold. If we see back and forth sideways movement, that will actually mean that we're going to see another push higher before the larger correction comes. But my general observation of the dollar is that we are approaching either from here or a little bit more on the upside, a time where the dollar will suffer a significant correction to the downside. If we look what is going on a commodity spectrum, our Thomson Reuters commodity index, which we have observed in the last couple of months, started the correction on the downside. There is clearly a five-way move, which you can see here on the chart. On the smaller time frame, we can extrapolate a five-way move lower here, which means that we are in some type of a B wave correction. Either this B wave on the overall chart or the second wave will turn more complex, or in a simple correction. We don't know that in current moment, but I do see potential commodities going lower, and this is just potentially a B wave pullback with a little bit more upside, where the new downside on a commodity might start, where we can actually witness this general theme of inflationary data lower, which will pair up with our overall outlook on inflationary pause in the next couple of months, even maybe deep into 2023. If we look oil chart, there is still no need for us to change our bullish wave count. For now, from highs, we only have 3 waves down. As you know, I will not change my wave count just because of this temporary move lower. I have signified several times a range between 90, 85 to 139. Actually, that was the range where we are trading currently. I still don't see a 5-wave developments here, which will make me actually correct this wave count. So I'm going to leave it as it is, as long as we trade between these two major support and the resistance lines. And for now, if I even switch to a higher time frame, you will see that I'm expecting oil to go higher for potential wave 5 in the next couple of years. So if this wave count will materialize, we will know, I think, in the next couple of months, especially if we look what is going to happen here in this already mentioned range. So if we look the gas prices, we have moved higher from this potential wave 4 lows. My original observation on this is that the wave 4 might take a little bit more time because of seasonality and the price action. Current developments suggest that potentially wave 4 is potentially already over, but I do see gas prices going higher in the winter, especially if we come closer to October, November. And I do see gas prices continuing its upside trend up to, let's say, 15 to 16 levels, at least until March 2023. And for now, as you know, this analysis has been still staying on a bullish side, and I will keep that bullish side until I see these levels around 5.21 crossed again on the downside. So let's switch to cryptos. Let me just first not forget gold and silver and show you what is going on there. So our gold chart has been working pretty nicely. Let me just find, I have a couple of chart packages open. So let's start with gold and let's look what's going on gold and our overall wave count. You know that we have pursued one of the bullish and one of the bearish wave counts with a slight tilt and the bias towards the bearish wave count, which is now actually came in a full force to our support levels. And we have almost a fully blown 5-wave impulsive move on the upside. After this 5-wave move materialized to our level or 200 moving average and a couple of fib ratios, which we outlined in the previous crypto lab. So for now, we do look this as an ABC in a flat corrective pullback. This is a regular flat, which is pretty rare, which means that all highs and lows completes at the same point. So if you go and actually take this as a cross, you will see that the levels of these highs and these highs are pretty much the same, and these lows and these lows are pretty much the same. So pretty overall, the fib levels also agrees. This is a 38.2 retracement levels from the wave 2. This is also equality between the ABC, and this is also levels where for the target of the wave 5. So they all have been summed up around this 200 moving average, which we see reaction actually reacted on the upside in a pretty impulsive manner, as you can see. So we can already count 5 waves from the lows, which actually gives us that the probability that this was a low in gold prices actually increases pretty significantly. So a fully blown 5-wave move on the upside, challenging some of the levels where the previous wave 4 was, will actually tell us that this is a reversal signature and that we are going to continue considerably higher in the gold price in the next possibly rest of the 2022 and pretty much significant amount of 2023 until we see move up to 2,500, which also agrees with the significant correction in the US dollar, which I was explaining earlier. So let's review silver, which has been also working according to our script. We have been bearish in the many crypto labs on silver, but now situation has changed. We almost reached our designated levels in the silver chart. So as you can see here, we are starting to move impulsively on silver. So there is a 5-wave move from low. So I will start to look for a potential fully reversal signature of silver on the upside, which will mean that silver will continue moving higher towards the higher levels in 2023 and What is interesting also is the gold-silver ratio, which I have shown yesterday on our regular trading analysis stock outlook on our YouTube channel. I will show you that as well. So if you look the gold-silver ratio, which is very interesting, we are seeing the signs of the potential reversal in this ratio. So we have a fully 5-wave sequence on the downside. I think here there is a small truncation in this 5th wave, completion of this gold to silver ratio move on the downside, which means actually that silver was pretty much stronger than gold in this move. And then, of course, we had gold stronger moving sideways and silver moving lower. This was depicted by this corrective pullback, which reached 0.618 levels from A triangle B to C, which is regular levels when you have a triangle as an intermediary pose between the corrective waves. So what we need here is actually to see a confirmation, which means that we will seek a fully 5-wave move to the downside, challenging these 74 levels, which will actually mean that the silver is going to start and push and go much higher than the gold in the next run, as you can see, which is depicted by this projected ABC relation, even down to these 47 levels. So we need to pay attention what will go on here. I think we can already count 5-wave move on the downside. From the highs, we need more developments to confirm the reversal, and then on a pullback, you can be pretty sure that silver will go considerably higher than gold in the next bull run on the upside. So if we switch to cryptos and look total crypto market cap, I think you who follows the Crypto Lab pretty much know our stance. We have been pounding on the drums already from March 2021 that the crypto winter is starting, and we were pretty much the only one, as I know, doing this. And apologize to people which also noticed that most likely looking the sentiment, this was the high. So there is a couple of versions of this. If this is a wave 3 here, this might actually turn into a triangle, which will actually agree with the halving cycle of Bitcoin. If the wave 3 is over here and this is some type of an A up in B down in C, we should see this impulsive structure going and challenging this 2.2 trillion. So I don't know in current situation for which version I will vote. Both versions are equally valid. Looking the current liquidity and current situation, I do slightly think that we are going to see a larger consolidation before we create conditions in the overall liquidity or the situation with Fed and rates that we are going to see after a year an attempt to trace out the 5th wave on the upside. I do also think that on the Bitcoin, which I will show you just in a second, on a larger time frame. So if we look this chart also from the perspective of the weekly level, we have been very vocal, as you know, that Bitcoin has actually potentially reached the lows, and this will be the last lows that we have seen on a Bitcoin, and I still do think so in that manner. So if we look the current chart, we have emphasized many times that this 200 moving average is something to look for with other signs actually on other perspectives that we look this Bitcoin chart. RSI was pretty much very low, maybe in a historic low on this weekly chart, and we are starting to see now Bitcoin, although in a very messy price action, is starting to hold this 200 moving average and actually start to trade above it. So this is in my book pretty much I can describe this as a base formation for now, as long as this last low holds. And if we make the 5-wave move on the upside, we will be in situation either to consider that as a first impulsive move towards the 5th wave or a triangulation in an A, B, C, D, E, which will make this wave 3 here. And this will be a longer term triangle, which also agrees a little bit more with the halving cycle, which comes at March 2024. So we do consider this as a longer consolidation, a little bit more in time, and then when we finish it, it's going to match a little bit before the halving cycle, which usually in the last even 10 years was matching the Bitcoin push higher. So I do see this correlation between this technical observation and the halving cycle, and I do think that the creation for the explosion of the Bitcoin price on the upside and Ether price as well as total crypto market cap, will actually wait a little bit more until we solve this couple of global questions, at least, or if the Fed pivots from the inflation narrative. And until that is happening or happens, or actually we might see a peace in Ukraine in a year or something like that. So that will make a totally different situation in inflationary picture. So I do see a probability that most likely, looking the macro conditions, we will stay a little bit more sideways before we turn on the upside towards this 100K and above. So as you know, if this is a triangle, not the completed waveform, we will see a five-way move on the upside, pullback in B, up in D, up in C, which will be a B wave, and then D, C and E, C, D and E, and then we will continue on the upside. Of course, we will track that for you and inform you on the development. For now, this development is going into this direction, which actually holds our thesis that this will be the last or the lowest low on the Bitcoin for the considerable time. As the Ether is concerned, I think the situation is a little bit more favorable. You know everything what is going on with Ether in a sense of merging and switching to proof of stake. So I will not bother you with that. I will just look the technical picture. So if we observe what is going on 200 moving average, we can notice that Ether is actually trading well above 200 moving average. We might return to it in some type of a correction. But in general, I do think that we are developing a structure which will depict either a first impulsive wave in the bullish wave count, or dimension triangle if we move the wave 3 here, and will also match up a Bitcoin sideways consolidation before we continue towards, in my current target designation, between 8 and 11K on Ether. Of course, we need to look Bitcoin and Ether chart, which actually favors for now Ether on the upside. So I will show you also that wave count, which we track for our members. So we are tracking this wave count for a long time on the bullish side. And as you can see, currently it is going pretty much nicely on the upside. So this was a wave 4. After a leading diagonal, we have a pullback, nice five-wave subdivision on the upside, ABC pullback. And now we are tracing an impulsive price action in a potential wave 1 of the possible wave 5s in the Ether dominance over the Bitcoin, which means that whenever we start to go on the upside, Ether will be one of the favorable going much stronger than a Bitcoin on the upside, which makes sense because in my opinion, currently Bitcoin is a little bit lost case, and we do have some narratives that actually doesn't agree. Inflation hedge didn't work, store of value didn't work. Many of the narratives we have heard about the Bitcoin as a currency, we are still not in that phase that we can consider it as something which will endanger the fiat space. So maybe Bitcoin needs more time to develop its original nature, which I think is going to be much more favorable than the other narratives that we have heard over the years. And as you know, I'm stating this already for a year and a half, that the Bitcoin needs a psychiatrist. It's a kind of a humor to say that it's a little bit lost in its own original function. But of course, to develop this function needs time. So we will see how this picture will actually evolve. So this chart definitely favors a little bit more Ether over the Bitcoin in the times to come. Let's look a couple of other charts after we switch to your comments and questions. So I'm going to show you also a couple of charts that we look with our members. So Matic I have posted on my Twitter feed. So I do see a very positive development on Matic. Overall chart in my book is pretty bullish, and I have been bullish on Matic, looking for this development in a either lesser or bigger degree way forward. That's really not important. What is important is that what is developing here and now. So if we see a fully developed five-wave move, correction is a good place, at least for me, to actually start holding Matic for the further development on the upside. So very positive development so far. We have a wave 1 and 2, some type of a nice developments in a wave 3. This might be some type of a triangulation. And if we trace out fully five-wave move on the upside, Matic in my book will become very bullish for the next developments. So pretty simple wave count, ABC to the downside, leading diagonal in A, up in B, five-wave move down in C. This I labeled as a wave 4 of a lesser or higher degree. And when you have a wave 5 left, it really doesn't matter because the immediate move will be on the upside. So we need a full confirmation, and that will be a full five-wave move on the upside. The similar picture is going on a couple of other cryptos. I will show you a few of them, and of course I will left a couple of them for our members. So let me show you also Binance Coin. Let me just find it here. So Binance Coin is also exhibiting something which reminds me on a potential five-wave development. It needs a little bit more price action to complete that. Overall, Binance Coin still look bullish. As you can see, we have successfully hold this time ratio. Also, we hold nicely this intermediate channel, if you can see. And also our wave count depicts 1-2-1-2, which means that we are heading towards the orange wave 3, which is relatively much higher than the current price in the Binance Coin outlook. So I'm going to stay bullish. I'm going to wait confirmation, but current price action is encouraging for the fully developed five-wave move, and then on a pullback, I will start to dig a little bit deeper where the correction can come before we start continuing moving higher. So for now, our outlook is still holding. We are still holding the lows, which was marked by us as a team and me as a leading guy in cryptos. That Bitcoin lows will be something that we are not going to see anymore. Of course, this still needs a material or a price action to be proven, but we are not changing this stance for now, and this is going to stay at our as our overall outlook. So let me see your question, guys, and just a second. I will start this from the beginning. There is a lots of comments. Joe, hi Alex, please look Matic. I think we already did that. Josel, hello Alex, welcome back. Thank you, Josel. Nice to be back. Hi Oleg. Igor, hi Alex, you sound very low. I don't think so. I have checked the volume. I think the volume is relatively good. Maybe I can adjust a couple of things. Maybe it's better now. I don't know if you have that. Maybe you can actually just reply if the volume is a bit higher. I see in the chat for somebody is okay, for somebody is not. So you can check that out. Let me see, Alex. Even though nobody can hear the stream. I see lots of guys had a problem with the volume, and as I look the table here, everything is fine as I'm looking. Yeah, must be something wrong with the OBS or the transferring data. Okay, so anyhow, you have seen the charts. For somebody that didn't hear, on the overall macro space, we think that we're gonna reach inflationary pause. On the Bitcoin, we do think that we're gonna trace out a triangle, and the total crypto market cap a triangle. Gold is looking bullish, silver is looking bullish. And I've shown you the Matic and Binance Coin chart, which starts to depict a potential reversal signature. So that will be a sum up for the ones that didn't have a volume. For the ones they did, you already heard the story. Okay, so let me look what is... Yeah, Goof, thank you. Usually, that's a good notion. I have this chat window closed until I finish the presentation. I did check everything before I started, so everything was okay. So uh, maybe it's a good suggestion that potentially if something is wrong, I can check it before I start. Well noted. Okay, guys, so some of the charts that we have shown. Let me just go back to them. Let me look this overall Bitcoin chart. Yeah, so as I said, most likely we're going to see a longer consolidation. Is any questions if you want to know about the Bitcoin or Ether chart? I think you have seen overall outlook. I mean, I've been proposing this outlook for already a couple of years now, that either the consolidation in a wave 4 is done, and that was my primary scenario. In these circumstances, we might have a directional move, which will be a reversal signature, or in the case that wave 3 we can anchor here, this will take a little bit more time. So I'm still going to stay bullish. There is no any signs or evidence for now that Bitcoin or Ether is going to turn bearish, at least for now. Okay, so let's look ADA. ADA is yeah, ADA is holding the current support levels now. I will enlarge the picture so you can see it, but we don't have a reversal signature. Okay, so we have held some type of equality here. It doesn't matter if you consider this a wave 4 or a wave 2. I don't think this is a wave 2. Potentially this is just an ABC correction in wave 4, and the wave 5 needs to follow, but you need to see a confirmation, a signature, which means that that you need to see clearly a straight 5-wave move upside, challenging this 1.2 levels. Okay, so for now, ADA do not display any of the reversal signature, because this is too small and too weak for a price action that we can conclude any sustainable reversal. Okay, so with this you need to be patient. I don't think there is any need to fish in this dark pond, because this is really a very very choppy and sloppy price action for now on ADA. Yeah, so I will repeat Bitcoin and Ether. So as I said, we are holding above this 200 moving average, which is a good situation for Bitcoin. And I'm still, as I said, going to be bullish. So 200 moving average, more than we trade above it, the more probability will increase, especially if we trace out some type of a five-way move towards 35K. So Ether as well, Ether has been moving pretty nicely, trading above our 200 moving average pretty nicely in an impulsive fashion, as you can see there, and it's starting to climb pretty aggressively on the upside, which means that we are in midst of the wave 1 or a wave A. On the upside, pullback will come, and that is most likely be above this 200 weekly moving average, and Ether, after a consolidation and numerous tries to get above it, finally succeed to do it more directionally than Bitcoin. Okay. So as I mentioned, Bitcoin is a little bit lost case for now, but I think it's going to find its own identity relatively soon. On the other cryptos, there is a couple of them which are pretty dormant. I didn't see any major developments on it. If we look Polkadot, we have been bearish towards our target, so we still don't have a fully developed five-way move. I'm expecting that to see on Polkadot, or some type of leading diagonal and a pullback that will do. Also, I've looked a couple of older guys. I think Sushi Swap. I looked and also trying to find the developing impulsive reaction on the upside, and still we might have some type of a leading diagonal, but still unclear. I would like to see more. So as you can see, on many of them, we are in a very early stages of a very shaky recovery. So I will not rush, although these two main proponents looks pretty nicely to me, especially Ether. With this couple of alts, I will not rush to proclaim and state that this was a reversal signature. I will wait a little bit more to actually seize or observe the further development. So more we go higher, or at least small pullback and continuation on the upside, will increase probability this was at least half a year low, at least, which means that if we trace 5 waves up, this will be at least wave A, down B, up in C, up back to 11, 13, and if we trace 5-wave moves on the upside, this will be much higher prices in Polkadot. So many others are in the same situation. So you cannot discern with certainty that was a final low. Also, this EGLD was working pretty nicely according to the wave count for the possible pullback in a wave 4 or a wave 2. I do think this is a wave 2. So ABC went to equality, but we still don't have a fully developed 5-wave move to actually claim that this is the reversal signature, and the situation is on many of them is the same. Yeah, so something which was developing also nicely from lows is Serum. We have observed this pretty long move on the downside, but Serum needs to give us more development on the upside to actually claim that this was actually at least midterm low on Serum. So this needs to develop further on the upside in a 5-way move, and it needs to do this pretty soon in the next couple of weeks. Yeah, and then there is no confirmation 100% that the bear market is over. I will add on that statement that Ethereum is telling to us that there is a big probability that bear market is over in the Ethereum case, at least, because any 5-wave development on the upside will actually mean that either we're going to see a fully blown 5-wave move in the next couple of years, or we're going to see a triangulation forming, which is also bullish, because this will be the lowest point of Ether price that we saw for the next couple of years. So that will be more precise to say. Okay, guys, so thank you very much for the attention. I apologize for the sound problems for some of you. I see that is mixed. Some of you had sound, some of you don't. I will have to check it out if it is on our side. So if you want to check us out, join us at tradinganalysis.com. We do have extensive coverage of cryptos. Hit the like button for us. So I don't know if this is unaudible. Maybe it's going to be tough for people to understand it. But I hope there is sound. But for some of you, it was just something else. I will check that out. So see you next Thursday. And in the meantime, if you want more coverage, because we cover many cryptos with our members, you can join us at tradinganalysis.com. You can have a trial, of course, and check us out. So thank you guys on the development. There is analyze asking Bitcoin Ether, and we have looked at the chart. I will just quickly go through it. So Bitcoin Ether for now is behaving in the Ether favor, and I think that was clearly depicted on the chart. So Ethereum, Bitcoin is moving relatively impulsively from the current lows, and we do see this as a potential bullish development in the future. So thank you guys again, and see you next Thursday. Bye bye.